How's it going, guys? James96 here, back with another episode on the Caplex SMP server. We're back with another episode of Caplex Week, and this time we are going to be working over at Spawn Area. Yes, we're over here and we're going to be working today. And yeah, we've got a kind of big project in mind for today's episode. It's a very technical project which I've been wanting to do for a little while, and I've come up with a cool design. I actually mentioned it in the last episode. It's called the Smeltatron, and that is what we're going to be building today. But first of all, let's check out something cool to spawn. Dan's doing a little demo of a player cannon. We were fiddling around with these the other day but not recording, so let's shoot ourselves up. Oh, didn't quite get caught. Oh, my mouse went there. That was lucky. I landed in the water. But yeah, we don't quite make it to the platform. I think it's a bit of chance as well, because that seemed a lot closer than some of my other efforts. So let's give it one more go quickly here. How's my armor doing? I think this could possibly give a beating to my armor. Oh, see, that time we weren't very close at all. So it's still in testing, and I haven't actually spoken to Dan about how this current design works, but it looks pretty cool. So yeah, that's what Dan's been working on around spawn, which looks pretty cool. I haven't torn this out yet, haven't worked on the Iron Titan yet, but we are going to be working on the Smeltatron today, which is basically a fully automatic cobblestone smelter, which then cobblestone generator, which then smelts the cobblestone into stone. So that is what we're going to be making today, that structure. And yeah, it's pretty complicated. These are pretty much all the materials that I need for the design. And yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy to make, but it shouldn't be too difficult. I've made it in a test world, which I'm going to show you in just a second, but it's going to fit into this wall here. My logic was that, I think I kind of explained this last episode, but we've hollowed out a lot of spawn, and it looks great, but there's a couple of walls, like this wall here, and that wall there, which are just kind of like flat edges. So I want to try and kind of fill them with farms to make the area look that much better, basically, because this area looks right, 'cause it's all curved and it looks quite nice actually, but like this wall here needs something in it, basically. And we're going to put the Smeltatron here, which fits quite nicely. As you can see, it fits quite nicely into the wall, and there'll be some other stuff around, but anyway, that is the plan. So what we're going to do first is we're going to head over to the test world, and I'm going to attempt to show you what is going on with this design. So we'll see you over there. Okay guys, so we're now here in one of my redstone testing worlds to show off the Smeltatron. Yes, this is what it looks like, and I personally think it looks awesome. It looks really industrial, and it really shows off the fact that this is, you know, a big machine. It's doing some cool stuff. So we're going to quickly have a look at it, and then we're going to break it down to show you sort of how it works. But basically what we've got here is we've got a cobblestone generator up the top here, which is making the cobblestone and harvesting it automatically, fully automatically. It's then going through this hopper system here and through these chests, which has some complicated stuff to it, and then it's automatically being smelted after a certain amount of time. When enough items are built up, it's being automatically smelted, being spread equally amongst these 8 furnaces, and then as you can see, the output comes out at the end here, and it's very effective. It's a very good farm, and you can actually toggle this as well so that you can use it just for smelting items on your own without having to worry about it. So this is the redstone around the back here, and like I said, we're going to break it down into its individual sections, but that's kind of what the whole thing looks like. Not too complicated, a couple of little bits of complicated redstone mixed in amongst it all, but I mean, really, it's not too bad at all to deal with. So let's have a look at it and kind of break it down for you. So first of all, we've got the cobblestone generator at the top here. Now, for this to work, it's using the blast miner module that Dan made. So first thing you've got to do is you've got to just make sure that your blast miner is running, and it's 2 redstone torches because we need enough power to break cobblestone. Now, what we got here is a very simple cobblestone generator. You'll see water flowing through, and it just goes straight through, and lava on each side. So you've got 2 basically separate cobblestone generators side by side. And if I just take this out, you'll see that cobblestone gets generated, it gets pushed down, and we've got an obsidian block here to stop the piston pushing too far and wrecking the system. But as you'll see in a second, that gets broken, cobblestone gets generated and pushed down. Very simple. Right, let's have a look at the little redstone circuitry we've got here. So we've got a redstone clock going on here, and that's going to basically go in a constant loop, just looping around. And what it's doing is every time it gets to this block in the corner here, it's powering it, but because of the way that this block is set up, it's creating a 1 tick pulse coming out of it. So this 1 tick pulse is then powering these stone blocks here, and as you can see, when the piston extends, it extends and retracts very quickly in a single tick. Now that's important because of the fact that I had one issue when I was making this farm, where when the blast miner would break the cobblestone, if the piston was still extended, then it would break the piston as well. So it was important to make it so that that wasn't a possibility, and that was the way of getting around that. So hopefully that clarifies that point, and that is pretty much all that you need to worry about for the auto cobblestone. One more thing though is that there is a item filter down the bottom here. The reason for that is that you want it to obviously collect the cobblestone, but you don't want the cobblestone to stay in these slots here. You want them to move through the system so they can be smelted. Now the reason it's a filter rather than just a straight hopper is otherwise it would take out these redstone torches at the end here, which you don't want. So as you can see, it's filtering through, and you'll see it hop up to 42 and then it'll drop back down like so. Now in the back here, in terms of how the filter works, it's just, I've shown these off before, but basically 45 items gives off a hopper a redstone signal of 2, but if it goes 1 extra block, you'll see that it travels to 3, which then powers this repeater and unpowers this torch, which allows an item to flow into this hopper here, because at the moment this hopper is being powered until this torch goes off. So hopefully that clarifies that. Anyway, that's fairly simple, so let's move on to the slightly more complicated part, and probably the most complicated part of this design. So when the items leave this hopper here, they go through a couple more hoppers and they end up in this hopper here. And one thing to mention at this point is that there's chests and hoppers on this side. They don't actually do anything, which is why I've taken them out over here. They're just for show because it looks more symmetrical if they're side by side. But that's basically why they are there. Now, how this works is basically with the auto smelter we've got at the end here, we've got 8 furnaces, and the fuel source that I wanted to use for this farm is coal blocks. The reason for that is it's more effective than coal, and you can store more fuel effectively in the same amount of space, because of the fact that obviously you can only store 64 coal, but you could store 64 blocks of coal, and considering one individual coal only smelts 8, whereas a block of coal smelts up to 80, you're basically multiplying your output by 10. So that is why it's like that. So in order to maximize each furnace, we've got a system which we're going to come to in a second, which basically divides the items out equally amongst the furnaces. But for that to be as effective as possible, you want to basically fill each furnace with just under 80 items, so that it only uses up a single block of coal, rather than say filling up 82 blocks and then you're wasting 2 blocks of coal for what could be done with 1 if you had slightly less items going through. So that's what this system here is all about. And what this does is, if you don't know, chests give out a redstone signal depending on how many items are in the chest. And using that, we can actually control how many when we send items through. So the idea being is that we collect items in this chest until we have enough to go to spread amongst the 8 furnaces and get almost 80 items in each, and that is how that will work, and then it will smelt them all up. But we collect them in here, and then once we get that sweet number, then we let them all through. And it's not too complicated, it just looks more complicated than it is, so I'll kind of demonstrate it now. So what we've got here is we've got a signal strength of 2 will trigger this line here, and a signal strength of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will trigger this line here. So if I just demonstrate a signal strength of 2, let me just grab some cobblestone. So as you can see, if I chuck a stack of cobblestone here, it will light up this redstone circuit here, which as you can see doesn't actually do anything. It has a redstone line which goes up to this blank space here, and it turns off this redstone torch here, but this redstone torch was already off, so it hasn't changed anything else. Now the idea being is that when the redstone signal strength is strong enough that there's enough items in the chest, it will turn this repeater on. So let me just get it close to that. So if I keep adding stacks of cobblestone here, you'll see it's now close to the amount of items it needs to hit a signal strength to be able to trigger this repeater. Now, when it hits that strength, it's going to turn off this redstone torch here, and because this is acting like an AND gate, both of these will be off, which means that this redstone torch will be able to turn on, because this redstone wire here is what's stopping this redstone torch from turning on. And if both of these torches are unpowered, this redstone torch is going to turn on, which is then going to turn on this redstone line here, extend this piston, which you'll then see allows this redstone line here to continue and turn off this torch. Now, I'll explain the reason why we have it like that in a moment, but basically this redstone line then unpowers this redstone torch here, which will then allow for this hopper to become active, because at the moment it's locked. You can see the redstone power goes straight into this block, which then powers this block, which stops any items flowing through, because as you can see with this filter we should be seeing cobblestone draining out, but it's not. So basically what will happen is, and let's show it in action now, so if I just put an extra block, and it's actually another stack still, as you can see, so piston extends, this redstone torch turned off, which allowed this redstone wire to activate, which then continues this circuit, and you'll now see the items are going to start draining through the system. Now, they're going through this filter here, and we should actually probably just add a chest for now so that we can properly see what's going on. So I'm just going to add a double chest here, and you'll see they're all starting to drain out through the system. And as you can see, the filter is active. Now, these items will continue to drain out until the signal strength gets low enough that this redstone line stops being powered. And as you can see, when that happens, this redstone block, this block here won't be being powered anymore, so the piston will retract, which means that this won't be being powered, which means that the redstone torch here will activate again and it will lock the hopper again. So let's just simulate that by removing some stacks. So you'll see at the moment it's still being powered, but if I remove one stack and then one extra stack, you'll see that gets unpowered, the piston retracts, and the line locks the repeater, the hopper again. So you'll see now no more is flowing through. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So just to clarify, what's going to happen is it's going to send through that amount of items but no more, because whilst this is going on, you may have noticed, and let's just simulate this again by adding a few more stacks. Okay, you'll see that this redstone line turns on, and the way this works is it's powering the block, which is then powering a redstone torch here, and as you can see it then goes up, and then basically how this works, and I thought this was pretty nifty, it's powering this block here and it's powering the redstone line, which considers itself going that way, you'd think, but it will also consider it going that way, which then powers this block here, which then stops this hopper allowing any items through into the chest. So the cobblestone generator will keep running, and any extra items will just build up in the hoppers whilst they're waiting for all of the items to filter through and filter out at the end here. Now, the reason that we've got this item filter in here is because we want a base number of filler items just to make sure that the right number go through into the system, because it's quite a finicky thing to get the exact right number so that not too many items go through, but enough items go through to make it worthwhile for each fuel source. So hopefully that clarifies that a little bit. Slightly complicated, I know, but we'll move on, and yeah, hopefully that explains it as best as possible. Right, last but not least is this furnace array here. Now I'm quickly going to just check that these are empty, because I cloned this across from the main design, and the main design backed up because I only put a single chest at the end, whereas obviously when I build it in the main world we're not going to have that problem. So you'll see down the bottom here we just got blocks of coal. Let's take these out as well. So just give me 2 seconds to do that, and that's only on because of the fact that, yeah, I just allowed that to start. So let me just grab that and go like so and whack those back in. Okay, so hopefully, and if we just go /clear clear. Sorry, this is me not properly setting up for a demonstration, basically. And then they're obviously building up in all of these hoppers around the back as well. Right, that should pretty much give us enough room to be able to demonstrate, so we'll leave it at that. So, this here is a design which allows for items to be equally spread amongst multiple furnaces. Now, there's two modes for this. There's the mode which allows the items from the Smeltatron to be smelted, but also if you want to do some bulk smelting of your own and you want to use this smelter, then you can actually lock the input from the Smeltatron so that you can smelt your own items in peace and then make sure you flick it off afterwards. So we'll show off just smelting your own items first. So to do that, we've got this redstone lamp here which is just indicating what's going on, and I just need to check which way's which because I'm pretty sure I know which way. But basically what you want is to smelt your own items, you need to flick this lever so that the redstone lamp is off. That's basically saying that the input from the Smeltatron is locked. So now I can smelt my own items in here. Now, if I put a stack of iron ore in this chest, you'll see that it should, theoretically, evenly distribute amongst the 8 furnaces. Now, whether or not that works will be interesting. So you'll see they'll all light up at the same time, hopefully. There you go. Except for one. There's something weird where once you break the furnace, it acts a bit weird the next time. Let's just right, hang on, where is it? Which one? It's something to do with the hopper above. There we go. Right, I bet it'll work now. Give it a sec. Okay. Interesting. Oh, we might have gone through all the items actually. That'll be it. Right. Let's just take those out for a second and we'll demonstrate the system again. So yeah, basically there's something weird with Minecraft. I think it's a bug, but I'm not entirely sure what is going on. But some of the hoppers sometimes glitch out, which causes a couple of problems, but nothing major. And at the end of the day, it will still be effective. It just won't be quite as efficient as it could be. But let's just get the furnaces back in place now, and we'll try and show it off again and see if it works this time. Okay, so if I just chuck, in fact, you don't need to actually have items in the furnace to be able to demonstrate this. So, or fuel in the furnace to be able to demonstrate this. So what we should see is items evenly distributing amongst the 8 furnaces. So we'll just give that a second to filter through. And basically what is going on here is you've got a line of hoppers here, and that's where the items are coming from. This chest here is feeding into this hopper system here, and basically obviously hoppers can only process one item at a time, so one item will go through, and as one item's going in, one item will go out. And when the comparator gets triggered at the end here, so when an item hits this end hopper, the comparator will trigger, which will turn off this entire line. Now this line is basically locking these repeaters, these hoppers underneath, and preventing them from sucking items through. And then when an item hits this end one, so if I just show here quickly, and I'll put something that's not going to confuse us when we test what the spread was down the bottom. So if I put a coal block here, you'll see that this redstone line flashed, and what that allows is any items in any of these hoppers to be sucked through, and then they just go straight into the furnaces. It's actually this line of hoppers here that I was referring to, and it goes directly into the furnace. And as you should see, okay, 11, 9, 9, 9, 9, none, 9, 9. Okay, so it's not quite working according to plan. For some reason one of those hoppers is bugged out. I'm not entirely sure why, but it works over there, so that's probably a pretty good place to demonstrate it actually. Let's use this one because that one looks like it's smelting at the moment. Let's just check this one isn't blocked up at all, and we'll try and demonstrate it again, and hopefully it'll work this time. There you go, it's blocked down the bottom here as well. Okay, so if we just remove that and that. Okay, so if we stick some items in this top chest here, we should see them getting drawn through the system and getting evenly distributed. There you go, all of the furnaces turned on. So I think it might actually be a cloning thing, because I think the same thing happened when I was cloning this design over there to test some stuff. So now that I think about it, I think it's a clone issue rather than a bug in Minecraft. So obviously we won't have that problem in Caplex because of the fact we're not cloning a design. So I wish I'd kind of said that to begin with to give me a bit more credibility, but oh well, gets the point across. But anyway, this hopper here is the hopper which is basically from this output here. It outputs and it goes over to this hopper here, just following a hopper line here. So it follows this hopper line and it goes down and it feeds into that chest. So that allows us to control when we want the items to go through or not, basically. Because at the moment, as you can see, I've turned off the Smeltatron input, and that's basically going to lock this hopper. So the items, the cobblestone will flow through and it'll just stop in that chest, in that hopper, until we flick that, and then it'll feed through into the chest and then down into the system. So that was a very long explanation of what we're going to be doing, but anyway, hopefully that made some sense. So now we're going to go back over to the Caplex server and we're going to build the thing. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay guys, we're now back on the Caplex server and we've got a couple of things to talk about there. First of all, that was a very long explanation of everything that's going on and very technical. So what I want you to let me know in the comments down below is if you're interested in that kind of thing, of me talking for longer and kind of explaining in quite a lot of detail what I've built, or if you'd prefer me to kind of just go, this is what it is, and I'll give a quick explanation, but then that's it, I'm done with it. So yeah, that's basically what I want to know from you from the comments. If you could answer me, that'd be awesome. Second thing is that basically the server's been really weird lately, and what's happened is I was recording myself building the Smeltatron, that's over there. Yep, I was going to build it on camera, and I was using the replay mod to record it, and just as I was about to finish, the server crashed and the replay didn't save. And that really frustrated me, because obviously I can't just tear out and go again, that'd be a complete waste of time. So there's no time lapse of me building the Smeltatron because it's on the server, but I lost the replay mod file, which frustrates me and kind of makes me lose a bit of confidence in the replay mod. But if it was a server crash, there's not a lot that they can do about that. But I was kind of hoping that that wouldn't be the case, that you just can't retrieve it. But anyway, the second thing is that obviously the first clip there was recorded on Wednesday, and this is coming out on Friday, fingers crossed. Basically, we tried to set something, the server was crashing randomly, and the admins, and in particular Dan, set up a command that was meant to auto restart the server once a day to kind of help combat that. However, I think that then caused the server to go into some kind of crash where we just couldn't get it to restart. So I haven't been able to get on the server for the last couple of days. It's basically the ultimate result of that, and Dan's not been around, so we haven't been able to ask him what exactly he did. But the server's back up now, not really sure how it got back up, but yeah, basically it's back up, so we can film this clip here. But that explains why there haven't been any episodes the last couple of days, and I'll try and get another Caplex video out this week, but I can't guarantee that there'll be one tomorrow and Sunday, just because I'm very limited on time. I may try and do a live stream on Sunday though, we'll see. So hopefully that explains that. So let's finish off this farm then, so that we can check it out in action hopefully. And obviously it'll take a while to build up, so we won't actually see it smelting any items probably. But if I just throw a great ender pearl, oh look at that, perfect. Now is the filter in place? It is. Oh yeah, look, we've even got to build up our filters before we can properly get going. But let's just craft all the stuff we need and wrap this up like so. Bang bang. And I'm slightly worried that this is going to launch me off as soon as I place these blocks, so I'm just going to go back a bit, because I do need to place the glass in as well. And when I say blocks, I mean torches. Ah, I'm doing a terrible job of this. So if we go like so, and as you can see, yep, it's working well. Okay, Did I forget to hook something up around the back? The redstone signal may have stopped actually, because if the server crashed that may have caused it. So I'll go investigate that in just a moment. Let's just place in this glass at the front here so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, right, let's go around the back and quickly troubleshoot what's going on. We are running very low on time so far. Having said that, every episode this week was going to be 10 to 20 minutes. They've all been over that so far, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But let's get up on. I'm slightly worried that I'm going to somehow hit the lava, even though I did cover it up because I don't trust myself. Okay, yep, just as I thought. The yeah, okay. That's just glitched up. I could probably update it just by breaking that. No, okay, I'm gonna have to break the piston. That shouldn't do any damage. Is there a block underneath it? There's not. Okay, right. Let's just quickly block this off. There we go. And then we probably should just put a block underneath it. There's no reason not to. Let's do that. Like so. Still getting powered. Oh, why is this being so weird? Okay. Best way to fix this then is just to break the signal somewhere. And it should now have retracted. Yep. Okay. There we go. Okay. If that burns out again, then we'll just have to increase the delay slightly. It may be uber effective anyway, in which case we'll have it on a slower clock. And we'll probably also eventually make a way to turn off this clock, just because I'm slightly concerned that it may cause a little bit of lag, but it shouldn't cause too much. The big thing to do actually is just to make sure it's all lit up around here, so that we don't have any lighting updates. But it's pretty well lit up already, and I'll add a couple more torches in places soon just to finish that off. But yeah, that's pretty much all we've got time for today, guys. I spent a lot of time on that explanation in the end. That was partly because I did know that the server was going to be causing me issues. I actually recorded the explanation after I'd finished building this as a little confession. But as you can see, this does look really cool. The one other thing we've got to do is add the banners, but I don't really have time to do that today, so we'll do that before the next episode. Those are the ones that just say Smeltatron across the front, which look really cool. But yeah, as you can see, that's working really well. But anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, then please leave a like, and if you haven't already, then please do subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.